Hey, sunshine. Welcome to Conversations with Celena, the podcast where we discover inspiration, motivation, and information to help you live your best life. I'm your host, Celena, aka Sunshine, and each week we'll dive into conversations with guests who share their testimonies, insights, and advice. We'll explore topics that uplift, encourage, and empower you to be the best version of yourself you can be. So tune in and let's have some fun while we explore all that life has to offer. Keep it smiling, sunshine, and let's go. Hey, sunshine! Look who is back. Look who is back. It is Sunshine. And listen, it is Wednesday night. So y'all come on in so we can have a great conversation on tonight because Conversations with Celena is back. So I missed y'all so much. I'm excited about tonight. I'm excited about tonight's guest. I cannot wait for you to meet her and hear her testimony. I'm going to tell you what. I'm hearing it for the first time as well. So we are in for an amazing episode. So thank you all for joining. Please share this video, and we're just going to jump right on into it. So on tonight, I want to introduce to you an amazing woman who's on an amazing mission. Okay. You all know that it is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, but it is also Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And I think sometimes it kind of gets a little bit overshadowed, but they're both very, very important. And so it is our job as survivors or anyone that's been connected to domestic violence to stand tall and be bold and tell your testimony so that you and I can help someone else. So tonight we standing 10 toes down in our truth and what has happened so that we can rip back that rug because we're forever sweeping things under the rug. So tonight we're pulling back the rug so that everything can be exposed, and then that just sheds light. And that's what Sunshine does. We shed light. So on tonight, I'm going to read what it's all about, and then I'm going to bring our beautiful guest to the stage. All right, so this business was launched on June 11, 2023. The name of it is Falsetto the Label, and it was founded by the beautiful Katrina Lloyd. She's so sweet, y'all. I promise you. I just met her, and she's super sweet. All right, and so out of love and out of passion to support the domestic violence community through fashion that both empowers and provides clothing and accessories to all women and girls to reach their limitless potential. Isn't that amazing? That's what I needed. Is that what you needed? That's what we're here to give you. The label is a social enterprise which donates 20%, not 5, not 10, not 15, 20% of sales to domestic violence causes. Domestic violence causes. The label honors the memory of Katrina's sister, Sherry Campbell, a victim of domestic violence. So I'm bringing to the stage. I believe she's ready. Welcome onto the stage, Miss Katrina Lloyd.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Welcome, Sunshine. Welcome.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
Yes. Are you good over there?
I'm good over here.
Okay. Are you able to sit that up, or is it moving on you?
Yeah, I tried to sit it up and it kept moving a little bit, so I'll try again here.
Yeah.
Okay. Is that better?
Yeah, so you can have your hands free. Yes.
Much better.
So welcome to Conversation with Celena. Thank you for coming on in.
Thank you so much. I'm happy to be here. I love it.
Girl, I'm so excited. I can't even stop smiling. I told you it's been months since I've been live, and I love this. And, I love the cause, and it is just a big part of what I am looking to do as well, because I've been praying and saying, God, what am I supposed to be doing? What am I supposed to be doing? And this domestic violence and sexual assault, it just keeps coming back. It's like, it's who I who I am supposed to be, not as a victim, but as a conqueror.
Yeah.
Y'all let me know if there's feedback. Seems like there's a little bit of feedback, huh? So, all right. Well, listen, I want you to just jump on in and tell us, how did this get started? How did your label get started?
Yeah, my label got started. It was unfortunately under unfortunate circumstances. So my sister, Cherie Campbell, she passed away from domestic violence on September 22nd of 2017. And it was just a shock to me and my whole family. Like, I couldn't even speak the words of how I felt at the time. Her and her abuser, her boyfriend at the time, shared a child together, and who's has autism. Very tragic story, and I was just shocked about the whole incident and what happened to her, and I couldn't speak about it. I couldn't talk to my husband about it or anything, so I had to go to therapy for a whole year so I could talk about it. And he's like, if you're not going to talk to me, you got to talk to somebody. So I talked
Hmm.
to therapy for a whole year. That really helped. And one thing that my therapist told me was, if you don't speak about your sister, you dishonor her soul. And that,
Oh, wow.
right? There, I was like, okay, I have to speak about her. I can't keep silent anymore about what happened. But what I can honor her and other like survivors of domestic violence. So after about a year of healing, I started like thinking about, okay, what can I how can I honor Cherie? What can I do? I thought about clothing initially because I've always loved fashion. That's always been my thing. Like, since I like can even remember like putting clothes together, accessories, like the whole nine. So that was always my thing. So I started like, okay, let me start with t-shirts, and it was a different name that time. I started off with the name Cherie L, and then that didn't stick too well. wasn't really vibing with it. And then I just really wasn't getting traction. I was having a hard time with just developing the business. So I put it down. And then fast forward, I would say about 2 years ago, my cousin texts me out the blue and says, hey, I had a dream about you last night. And God told me in my dream to tell you, do not give up on your business, model after Cherie. I'm like, oh man. So I church. So I've always believed in God, and I'm like, oh man, now I have to pick it back up again.
Hmm.
And I dug deep, like, okay, what do I call it? And something Cherie and I always did together is we sang all the time. Church, home, whatever the latest song was, we will always sing around the house. It was that we would share, we would text message, like, did you hear that song? Like, that song is like amazing. So we would sing it. And then I've always loved fashion. So I merged the two together and created Falsetto, the label. And falsetto is like a very high music register and like a singer's like vocal range, like Mariah Carey goes at like the real high note.
Hmm. Hmm.
Falsetto. And then the label adding that piece in is like the clothing piece. So
And it's almost like the FA in it that begins keeping the mind of fashion anyway. Like,
yes, you're right. No, I never thought about that. You're
mhm, yeah.
so right.
So that's interesting. I'm glad that you shared, because I definitely was going to ask you how you came up with the name.
Yep, that was how I came up with the name, and all like the language on the t-shirts are all inspiration on my
Oh, you kind of went out a little bit, and I think I'm echoing.
I can hear you.
Okay,
Can you hear me?
I can hear a little bit better now.
Okay. Okay. Well, let me know and I can try to adjust on my end. Okay.
Okay,
Is that better?
I can hear you.
Okay. Okay. Perfect. So yeah, that was how I started wearing all the inspirational messages on the shirts are just to empower women and girls so they can be the best they can be in life, like leading lady and stunning and tough cookie for little girls, things like that really empower women and girls to be the best they can be. That's the mission behind Falsetto Label. Clothing like inspiration through fashion, really advocate for domestic violence survivors and really try to get them out of that situation.
Wow. I don't know why I'm getting this feedback, but I'm talking to myself. Seems like it. Can you hear it?
I can hear it a little bit.
Let me try this one. Maybe. Okay. Okay, I don't hear it like you. Okay, so how old is your sister?
Turned to 45.
I can't hear you.
Is that better?
I can hear you a little bit.
A little bit? Okay. Let me.
Is your volume turned up on the side?
Yeah, it's all the way up. Yeah, it's turned all the way up. Is this a little better?
Uh-oh.
You went out for a second.
That's okay. We still here.
Yep.
So how old did you say your sister was?
She was 35.
Oh, 35.
Yeah.
And did you all know that she had been suffering at the hands of her abuser, or was that completely new and different and he just kind of snapped?
Yeah, so we knew about like the emotional piece because she could only contact us when she was at work or if she was in the car. Anywhere but home, you can contact her. But when she was home, there was no contacting her. He believed that all of our family did not like him, which we didn't. We didn't think he was a good person, and we're pretty vocal about it. And so, yeah, those signs were there for sure, but not the physical piece. The physical piece wasn't there. I mean, going back now and thinking back and looking at pictures, I could see, okay, she was covering up some bruises there from makeup. Of course, at the time, I wasn't thinking to look for that at all.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, there's no way she would stick around for that. Like, just her personality, super smart. She had a master's degree, everything. But she was like really adamant about staying for her son. Like her son, was everything to her, everything. So she wanted to have the family dynamic and was like, I have to stay for him, even beyond like the emotional abuse. And obviously it was physical too.
Mm-hmm. So how was he with the son?
Very loving, caring. You would never know. Like loved him to death. And he had other children too, by his ex-wife. He had other children.
And a good father, just across the board.
I wouldn't say as good of a father to the other children. He wasn't as present with them. He definitely, saw them. They would come over, things like that. But I'm not sure the relationship was so close with the ex. So I think there was like a different dynamic there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But he was a good father for what I saw to their son.
But just very controlling.
Very controlling. Like wanted, he would check her text messages, phone calls, like tracking where she was, like through her phone location. You had the location
Mm-hmm.
feature on your phone. He would track her that way. So yeah, very, very controlling in that way. Wanted to know everything she was doing. So yeah, like I couldn't just go over her house and say, hey, you want to go to lunch? That wouldn't happen. It would have to be prior communication with her while she was at work, things like that, to be able to just have like a regular, just hang out and talk.
That is so sad.
Yeah.
So was he found guilty?
Yes, he was. So he'll be in prison for about 33 years. They did find that he had several mental illnesses, bipolarism, and several other ones that I've never even heard of before.
Mm-hmm.
He did try to take his own life after he murdered my sister. He was unsuccessful, and then he confessed to the police what he did.
Mm. What is that all about?
Yeah. It's just wanting control.
And then when you do try to leave, that's when, because people will say, well, why didn't she just leave? And they say it like it's the easiest thing in the world to do, just leave. But you're telling me one step, okay, I left. Now what? I'm out here. Where do I go for resources? Where can I go get shelter right away? Where can I help, get my kids into school that's a safe school? Because if you don't get away from them, then you're putting yourself in even, I feel like more harm, because then they're angry.
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
exactly.
So, we need steps, and people need steps. Whenever it's time to leave, you need a plan.
Yes.
You need a plan.
And there's
And
several.
that's what keeps people there. Children keeps people there, not having a plan, not having resources, money, all sorts of things will keep you there.
Absolutely. And people, it's just more like an awareness thing of where do you go? There's shelters out there, like check your local YMCA. They shelter people that are in difficult situations. You can call the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. There are great resources on a website called knowmore.org. I mean, there's so much out there, people just don't know where to go. And I think sometimes people can be ashamed. Like they don't want to admit, oh, I'm in a bad situation.
Mhm.
There can't be shame. You have to really just live in your truth and say this happened. And it's not your fault. It's not your fault.
And that is the hardest part. Well, one part that's difficult is not having that guilt and shame, because you tend to be embarrassed and you don't want to be judged, but that's what people do anyway. And I think once we really, really come to the conclusion that we shouldn't be worried about what other people think, like that is freedom right there. Like being able to stand in your truth, being able to talk about it, not being concerned with what other people think is freedom. Transparency is freedom. So I wish that your sister would have, felt confident enough to reach out for help. She probably never thought that it would come to that.
No. I don't think she did. I think she would have left if she knew it would come to that. Like
Mhm.
it was horrible. Just like my dad to go over there just to look for her and the door to be locked and the police had to go in and found her. Like horrible, absolutely horrible.
So she was missing? Like she didn't show up for work or something like?
She didn't show up for work that day, and that was abnormal for her. So it was like a wellness check, like what's going on? Everybody's calling it. Anybody heard from Shuri? No, we haven't heard from her. So my dad goes over there, knocks on the door, hears dogs barking, no one answers. And so he calls the police, and her son wasn't there. He was at daycare. So he made a point to take him to daycare first and then go back and murder her.
Just planned it out.
Yep.
I mean, there's some instances where there's the heat of the moment and you react because, something has taken place. And so you react in that moment. But when you plan it, like, I can't seem to wrap my mind around the way that people think and the things that they do.
Right. It's horrible. And I understand mental illness is a thing, but domestic violence is an illness too. I mean, it's horrible that people take these actions on people. It starts with the brain. You think and then you can act on what you think or how you're feeling. It's like a lack of self-control. The Bible talks about that. We slow to speak, slow to anger.
Mm-hmm.
And people aren't following that ultimately. I mean, the statistics out there are darn. I have like written down so I wouldn't misinterpret them. Physical violence, this is lifetime. Physical violence, 1 in 4 women. Sexual violence, 1 in 3 women. And stalking, 1 in 6 women. That's prevalent.
Mm-hmm.
Think about like your neighborhood, right? Like how many houses or townhomes or whatever, 1 in 3 could be some form of abuse.
I mean, when you standing just in the grocery store line, you just say 1, 2, okay, you probably 1, 2, like it's every other person almost.
Exactly.
And no one wants to talk about it because of the shame.
Exactly.
The judgment.
It's horrible. It's nothing to be ashamed about. It's like about getting the help.
And I was just thinking, as you were saying, the mental illnesses that he had, all of these topics that we talk about, it's like one goes hand in hand with the other one, like the mental health awareness. You have to get help. You have to talk to people. And then we got to remove that stigma of, getting help. Girl, it goes hand in hand. Taking care of yourself, taking care of your mental health, not working yourself 24/7, not stressing over things that you cannot control, learning how to let go. That was very hard for me. I lived from a place of fear, guilt, shame, all of those things. And it's not a pretty place to be. It's very dark.
Yeah. And it's hard to pull yourself out of that too. And I like commend you for doing that. That's incredible to have that sort of strength.
It took it took way longer than what I would have wanted. And I know some people, but again, we're not worried about what people say. But I do know that it's probably being said, like, why is she telling all of her business, or why she waits so long to talk about it? But you never know how someone is struggling, on the inside. On the outside, we all look great, grand, and wonderful. I actually watched the show. I'm so tickled because I never watched TV, but I watched the show, and this young man looked like a normal guy. I mean, like a nice young guy. He was killing women, raping women, and just like it was nothing, like no value. They had no value whatsoever. They finally caught him, but and he admitted to a whole lot, but the police officer feels like there was a lot more.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just sad, and you can't tell what people are going through by how they look on the outside. That's
Exactly.
why your mental health needs to be a priority.
It does. And like even if you see like a change in behavior, if you have like a friend or a family member, if perhaps they're really quick to respond when you call or text within a certain time frame and they're like, a few hours, you might want to check up on them and say, hey, everything okay? You good? Because little things, like, because it can sneak in, like, oh, that person's probably busy or something like that. But if there are abnormal changes, ask the question, because people, like you said, people, they may be embarrassed to speak up and say, I'm struggling, being abused. And that's hard to say, right? Like having that self pride, you have to put it down, have the humility and say, I need help.
Mm-hmm. Definitely, definitely. And that part is hard.
Mm-hmm.
That part is hard, to put that pride aside, the guilt aside, the shame aside, and because I feel like you're so damaged already. Like you said, he was mentally abusive, controlling. And so you don't even know how to move in that situation. Like probably she lived on eggshells inside of the house. So when you're living in those type of conditions, like you can't even keep it all straight. Like you're trying to go to work, you're trying to take care of your baby, and you're the last thing that you're even thinking about. But taking care of self is not selfish, it's necessary.
Absolutely. It's like has to be one of your top priorities, because it's like you can't fill from an empty cup. If you have nothing to give, you have to make sure you're okay. Are you okay mentally? How are you feeling today? Those types of things are important. So, and you can't give anything to anyone else.
No, you can't. And we say it all the time, but I think we fall short as far as, taking care of some of that stuff. We fall short of taking care of ourselves. We're not the priority, especially as a mother. You're not the priority,
Right.
but you have to be the priority in order to take care of the rest of everything and everybody, the house, the husband, the children, the job, church, just so many things that you're trying to juggle, that putting you at the top of that list is difficult.
It is.
And being able to have a safe place to go and talk about it, that's another hard thing to find. You're afraid that as soon as you tell this person, they're gonna go say, "Now don't say nothing," and then that person gonna say, "And don't you go say nothing." Before you know it, it's done got back to him, her, and now he's really angry. And I say him. I did have a young lady. She admitted that she was the abuser in the relationship. So we'll say the abuser because it could be either or.
Yeah.
So you do have to take care of yourself and find someone's a safe place to
Yeah.
share so you can get help.
Yeah, and there are tons of hotlines out there, free hotlines you can call. Like I mentioned earlier, the National Coalition Against Domestic Violence. There's several other different hotlines you can call. And even when you go on these websites, they have a button at the bottom that says safety exit. So in case your abuser is nearby, you just click on it and it takes you out the page. So I don't think it tracks the history either when you go there. You can double check on that to verify that, but you can definitely exit safely. But that's like a free place to call to get some help and see what resources are available in your area.
Mm-hmm. Whew. What else you want to tell us, baby girl? How do we get some of this merchandise so that we can support you?
Yeah, so I have my website, falsettothelabel.com. I'm also on a lot of the social channels. I'm on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok as well. It's it's going at the bottom, at falsetto underscore the underscore label. You can find me on all those social channels. I'm pretty active on Instagram and Facebook and also on TikTok as well, try to reach different audiences. I just want to spread awareness. I think the clothing is definitely an aspect of it, but I'm really about advocacy. And I really want to help people ultimately because that's where my heart is. Like, I wish I could have helped my sister more. And I tried my best. I did offer for her to stay with me. But I understand the situation. She wanted to have the family dynamic, and it's difficult. But I want people to have the resources, know where to go. I want them, like how everything starts with the mind. I want them to know that they are worthy and they're worth it. They're loved. They're lovely. They're cared for. They're not what their abuser is telling them.
Girl, say that one more time. Say that one more time. What
They're
are they? Tell them what they are.
They're lovely, they're beautiful, you're worthy. They are not what their abuser is telling them. I want to remind them of that. All the clothing that I offer, stunning, alpha woman, leading lady, even for little girls, tough cookie, voyager. All these things are to empower. My girls, I have twin girls, they wear this stuff to school. And I've had quite a few sales of the tough cookie hoodie because people seem to like, it's cute too. But it's like I want them to know they're great. Be the confident person that you were made to be. Don't let anyone tell you anything different. So it starts with the mindset. I want to be able to switch the mindset through clothing.
Exactly. I'm right there with you. Like, I love affirmations, and I also, do some similar things, just to remind people. And this goes for men and it goes for women as well, because once I started this, I found that even men came forth to share with me about abuse that they had been through, and so you are worthy. And I don't know where this starts or how it happens or if it's just passed down, that you have to settle and you have to deal with this stuff. And I feel like we're products of our environment sometimes. And so we don't think as highly of ourselves as we should. And people will beat you down. And once you go through that, it's hard to see yourself any type of other way. Like, I know I used to get talked about and criticized and called all kinds of names. And so that messes with you, and we got to remember that we're not what the abusers say, and we're not what other people say either, because that comes from other sources as well. Because if you really knew who you were before you got in that relationship, I believe that you would have the confidence to get out of that relationship. You know what I mean? So you're right. It's in the mindset.
It is, and we can't accept it. Just can't accept. And things like you mentioned, things that can be very deeply rooted in childhood. How you grow up, because the mind, adolescent mind, you're absorbing everything in the whole world. You're learning, like you're taking everything in. So when you hear things that aren't positive, that can really resonate in your heart and like, but kind of craft who you are.
It does.
So that's hard to break out of that feeling and mindset of what you've accepted of who you are, because you're a child, right? And you're kind of growing up like, okay, this is just who I am. Maybe I'm just shy. I don't really want to talk a lot, or I don't feel confident. No, you're all of those things. You are confident. You can do it. You can speak up, speak your mind, say what you have to say. I tell my girls all the time, speak your mind. Don't be afraid, don't be disrespectful. That's one thing, but speak your mind, share your feelings. Tell me how you're feeling. Don't keep it.
It's one thing for sure. It's harder to break it in adulthood. So it's best to start in the upbringing versus you having to relearn. It's almost like you got to relearn how you see yourself, relearn that I don't have to just be quiet. I have a voice and I can use my voice and I can speak. And it's okay for me to share how I feel and be respectful about it. So that is hard when you're adult and you're having to redo it. I'm witnessing that right now with some other people, that it's unfortunate that you don't see yourself and the value that you bring to the table.
Yeah. And sometimes it takes people reminding us of who we are, or people who you are, how they see you. You know what I mean? Like, oh, really? You see me that way? I don't know if I really see myself that way. It's like, no, you're amazing. I see it.
That's why your circle is important.
Yes. 100%.
Or your dot, depending on how big it is. You might just have a dot, but whoever it is, it needs to be a strong circle, strong dot, solid line, whatever you got going on, it needs to be solid.
Yes. Your circle is so important. Who you surround yourself with, positive people, not a whole bunch of negativity and drama. It's really important who you let in your life. Ultimately, anyone.
That's right. That's right. Oh Lord. So how are your parents still alive?
They are. My parents still alive. They care for my sister's son. They're her permanent guard. They're his permanent guardians. So he's well cared for. Really happy. It's like when I see him and see his eyes, I see her eyes. I see my sister Cherie's eyes, and that's really heartwarming to me that I get to see him still. She would have been like thrilled, and about how he's doing, and he's gotten so tall now. He's taller than me.
How old is he?
He's 16 now.
Wow.
Yeah. So yeah, or is he 15? I'm sorry, he's 15 now. But yeah, he's doing good. He's starting to speak more. He has autism, but he's starting to speak more. He's starting to speak. So yeah, he's doing good. But yeah, it's an unfortunate story, but I'm really trying to turn it into something positive to really help support survivors. And since we're in October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, like you mentioned, I've partnered with Just for Success. They're an organization that provides suiting and programs for women that are really trying to get themselves back out there, like in the workforce. Like the suiting is at reasonable prices so they can afford it, right? Because they're trying to get a job. And I met with a lady at my local Just for Success, and she informed me that 50% of women that go there are domestically abused. And I didn't know that going in. I was just trying to see how I could help the organization through my brand. And I was shocked. Like half the women that come in here are domestically abused.
You just said the statistics were like 1 in 3. So
yes. It was a lady, the lady told me a story how a lady was like sleeping in her car just to get out. She needed to get out.
And just got out.
Exactly. Doesn't matter.
So hopefully they're able to guide her to where she can find help and resources and stuff like that.
Exactly. And they have like professional women's groups that really coach these women and how to get out there in the workforce. So you're helping them get jobs to be able to live on their own and financially and support their family, which is great.
Oh, thank you, Renee. She said the podcast was incredible. Thank you, Katrina and Celena. I'm so grateful for your advocacy, Katrina. The video blessed me. Oh, thank you, beautiful. Y'all are amazing on here. So I want to help you. You said you want to turn it into something positive. You've already done that. So I want you to speak that a little bit differently because you've already turned it into something beautiful. You've already turned it into something positive. Your sister is very proud of you, her son, her parents. You know, she really would be very proud. So I want you to speak that in those terms going forward. Make you a shirt. I turned it into something beautiful.
I will. Thank you. I love that. You're right. I'm going to change my language. That matters. The words matter so much.
Yes, they do.
100%. Thank you. That's so nice.
Oh, girl, you're welcome. And I probably did that because I'm working on me. I'm working on me. I was driving the other day and I was getting ready to tell myself, because, you know, I kind of have to, we got to encourage ourselves, right?
Yes.
And I said, it's going to be, I think I put it in that phrase. And I'm like, no, when I say it that way, I'm putting it in the future. Like one day it's going to happen. It's already happened. Like I'm in my process. This is successful. It may not be successful in the eyes of certain people, you know, but it's how you measure the success. And you were obedient.
Yes.
When you got that phone call that your friends had that dream that you were supposed to start this up again, you were obedient. And by that obedience, it's already blessed, honey. You just keep going. Don't you quit. Change your language, though, and you just watch God work.
Thank you, Celena. Thank you so much. You're right. And I'm all about being obedient to God because I do not want to get in trouble by him. Like, sign me up. I'll do it.
Girl, I don't want to get in trouble anymore because, baby, I have been through some things and done some things that I'm not even proud of, that I'm like, Lord, please forgive me. But you don't have to beg God to forgive you. You know, you
Right.
ask for forgiveness and you are forgiven and you can press on.
Yep.
You can press on.
Yeah, we
And
have
when somebody tries to show you who you used to be, I'm not that person anymore.
Yep. God will protect you. You just gotta ask, and that
You just have to ask.
We have such free access to him is absolutely incredible. It's like, God, I need you. And if you don't want to be vulnerable to a person, be vulnerable to God. Be open, like, I'm being abused. Help me get out and watch him work. I promise you. Watch him work. God has the receipts to show proof of what he's done.
Mm-hmm. And sometimes we just need that extra help. And so, again, your circle is important. You do have a voice and there are resources. And so I want to say that I want to partner with you so that I can help where I am. Like, so you can help me get out there and help some other people. Now I got to hurry up and get out there for the winter weather hit, because when winter hit up here, I'm gonna have to do my help online. I won't be out going to the places, but as soon as spring roll around, I'm back outside. I'll be back outside on the mission, trying to help. And I have these little bags that I had in the car that I would just hand out, to the people on the side of the road, because I feel so bad them standing there right next to me on the window, and you don't want to make eye contact because you don't have nothing for them. And
Right.
so now I keep, a little sack with goodie bags. Like it's got water, snacks. I even got a couple dollars in there. Like, and I think I'm gonna do it to take to the shelter. Like, I think that's what I want to do, because I pulled up to the stop the other day and I didn't have a baggie. So I just had to give the man what I had in my purse, right? Mm-hmm. And so I said, that feels so good. I said, sir, do you have water? And he said, yes, ma'am, I have water. I said, okay. So I know when I heard you say I partner with them, it's like I want to do the same similar things, and partner so that I can know where to go, who to help, how to help them, because you just don't ever know. Sometimes you just don't know. And I see Maya popped in. Maya, I also went to go help her feed the homeless. So that's what got me into really just having that heart and that love, because people try to plant fear when we first went out there to feed the homeless. It's like, y'all gonna go out there by yourself? Y'all got some protection? Y'all got some mace? Y'all got some this? And I was like, wait a minute. And then Maya, she gonna say, Miss Sunshine can't fight. Got me out here, can't fight. But those people were so far from dangerous, like just coming up and just being so grateful for what you're doing for them. You know what I mean? And so it's just been a blessing. Hey, Jennifer. Y'all coming on in the room now. She laughing at me because she said, I can't fight. Girl, got me in New Orleans, in the middle of New Orleans, downtown, under the bridge.
Oh, no.
But it was a blessing. It has been a blessing. And I'm thankful for what you're doing. Do you have anything else that you would like to share about your sister, about domestic violence, anything on your heart that you feel like, I don't want you to go say, oh, I meant to say, because you have the floor, honey.
Yeah, so two things. One, domestic violence is absolutely an epidemic. And I will say that it is based on the statistics. So please, if you're being abused or know someone that's being abused, please get help or help them get the help. Because sometimes people need the encouragement and they can't do it on their own. They're in a mental state where they're just so broken, they're unable to do it. So just help someone, check in on people. If something's abnormal, just ask the question. Even if you're wrong, at least you tried, right? The second thing, I write blogs on my website, falseoutofthelabel.com. They're weekly blogs really to empower women and girls to be the best you can be in anything. I really try to empower from different angles, clothing, and also through my blog on my website. So please check out that website as well. But thanks so much for this platform. I mean, this is huge because it's domestic violence awareness month. It's like right on time. Like smack dab in the middle, like very beginning of domestic violence awareness month. So it's like a really important topic to talk about.
It is.
Yeah, check out nomore.org, nomore.org. Tons of resources there. They're even very active on Instagram. They have a lot of great resources. So definitely, if you know someone that needs help, just check on them to help.
So now, baby girl, how can we help you? How can we help you with your mission? I know we can buy shirts. Yes. Is there anything else that we can do to help you?
Yeah, just do the purchase. I'll just share False Out of Label through all my social channels. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, and this month, 20% of my sales has gone directly to Just for Success, like I mentioned. So that's huge for them to really help them continue upon their mission to provide these suiting for women, coaching services. It really helps them a lot just to feel good about themselves. Like I was at Just for Success a few weeks ago volunteering, and just seeing the women come in and just how they were so transformed by a suit or a top or a skirt or a blazer or a purse or accessories. They have the whole nine there. Shoes they have. Like they see themselves in a different light. And it makes a huge difference on their perspectives and makes them excited about getting back out there in the workforce and really working for themselves and supporting themselves. So that's how you can support me. Through what I'm trying to do to advocate for survivors that they are enough and they're worthy. They're worthy of it all.
Girl, where were you back in the day when I needed to be reminded of who I am and whose I am? But listen, I know now, sometimes I'm going to lie. So I have to be reminded, but I have some great people that encourage me to keep going. And so with that being said, what I want to ask you all to do, and this might be a good thing for you as well. So today I had someone tell me that what I needed to do was to open my mouth and ask for help. So if you all enjoy Conversation with Celena episodes, to keep it coming, to keep it running, I'm going to run It's called, I just named this, y'all. So if y'all come up with something else, y'all can help me. But I got a donation today, and the idea was join the Conversations with Celena campaign. And it could be $5, it could be $10, whatever you feel led to do, um, in order to help keep Conversations with Celena going. I know for a while we tried some sponsorships and things like that, but this is for the people, and it's not a whole lot. And I feel like, who doesn't have $5? You know what I mean? We spend five. You can't even go to Chick-fil-A for $5. I don't know where you can go these days for that amount of money, but we work hard to bring you great information, and it's inspiration, motivation, and it's information, and it's empowering. That's hard for me to say. I don't know what it is with this country tongue, but we are here to empower you to be the best that you can be, to live the best blessed life that you can have, that you're intended to live, that God intended for you to have an abundance. And that's not just money. Like, people think it's money. It's an abundance of love and faith and family and all of those things. Do you agree?
Absolutely. We need them all.
We need them all. And I want all.
And you deserve it. You're
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Oh, so listen, how do you even know how to send it? So I didn't even say that part. See, I'm new at this. And this is part of being confident in what you're doing. Before, I was like, I don't want to ask anybody. A closed mouth don't get fed. That's why I asked you before I put this up. How can we help you? Because I want to bless you. I'm going to bless you because I believe in what you're doing and I love what you're doing. And it was meant for you to come. I knew that's probably where it came from. I didn't hear it, but okay, Cash App. You can say Cash App. But yeah, so I this was meant to be. That's all I know. Everything happens for a reason. And like you said, we're here at this time and place, and this is exactly how it's supposed to happen. So thank you for coming. We're also going to be a blessing to you. And we're going to keep this campaign going throughout till whenever we stop. So every episode, every month, however you feel like, you just come on, bring it on through for Sunshine, and you won't regret it. I tell you what, because we're successful. Isn't that right, Katrina? What we're doing it's got success all over it.
Absolutely. It's already successful.
That's right.
Speak it as though it were.
I can't hear you now, baby girl.
I said, speak it as though it were.
It's already done. And we're going to tag teams together, and we going to the top.
Yes, absolutely.
To the top.
Yes.
I went to Southern Miss, and it used to be SMTTT, Southern Miss to the top. That's how we do it. We going to the top. Well, thank you so much. We're going to have a radio episode also. Be sure to tune in Sundays with Sunshine on NOLA FM 100. Katrina will be my guest. So if you want to get a snippet of what we talked about tonight, y'all come on over to NOLA FM 100 on Sunday at 7. All right, y'all keep it smiling, Sunshine. Mwah. Y'all have a great night.